In this episode of Pro Tip for Lifestyle Engineering, I will explore the fascinating world of cholesterol, its different forms, and how it impacts our health. Cholesterol is a vital compound that plays a crucial role in many bodily functions. Cholesterol often gets a bad reputation, so let's start with understanding why. Dyslipidemia, or the cholesterol problem, manifests in high LDL or low density lipoprotein, often called the bad cholesterol, low HDL, high density lipoprotein, which is called the good cholesterol, which helps clear excess cholesterol from the bloodstream. And the third is high triglycerides. These are the type of fat in the blood, which, when levels are too high, they contribute to atherosclerosis and other cardiovascular issues. But there is more to this story. Other health markers often linked to dyslipidemia, which signal broader risks, are often overlooked, with the attention mostly on lowering LDL levels. The first one is elevated HbA1c. This shows poor long-term blood sugar controls commonly seen in diabetes. While it is said that less than 5.7 is normal, one needs to be below 5.2 to consider one glucose as healthy. The second one is fasting insulin, and this is a blood test which is often not done. This is a very key marker of metabolic health. High fasting insulin suggests that your body is struggling to regulate blood sugar levels effectively, a key sign of metabolic health problems. The next one is high C-reactive protein, or CRP. CRP, as many might know, measures inflammation, which plays a big role in heart disease caused by damage to artery walls. And the final one is increased liver enzymes. These can indicate stress on the liver, often tied to poor metabolic health and dyslipidemia. The problem is that these markers often degrade before dyslipidemia fully develops. So together, they highlight how cholesterol and related metabolic issues connect to the broader health risks, especially heart disease. So understanding these markers and following them and addressing them early is key to better manage overall health and prevent serious complications in the future. To understand these problems better, one must learn about two things. One is lipids, and the next is what are lipoproteins. What are lipids? Lipids are, in fact, important group of molecules that our bodies rely on for many functions. The four main types of lipids are triglycerides, cholesterol, fatty acids, and phospholipids. Triglycerides are most common type of fat which you find in our bodies. You will find them in foods like meat, butter, and cooking oils. Our bodies also make triglycerides in the liver and fat cells from extra carbohydrates and fats we eat. Their two main jobs are to create their two main jobs is to store energy for later or and help insulate the body from cold. Cholesterol is a type of fat. It's vital for building membranes, make hormones like estrogen and testosterone, and producing bile acids that help digest fats. The liver produces most of our cholesterol, nearly 80%. We also get cholesterol from foods such as eggs, meat, cheese, etc. Fatty acids are the building blocks of triglycerides and other fats. They play a big role in fuel for energy in cells, helping cells communicate and controlling inflammation. The essential fatty acids like omega-3 and omega-6 come from diet through food like fish, nuts, and seeds. They support brain health and reduce inflammation, which helps to lower the risk of heart disease. Phospholipids are essential for cell membranes, keeping them strong but flexible. They also help cells function properly and transport fat in the body. So foods like egg and soy are good sources of phospholipids, and our liver and intestines make what we need. The key takeaway from this is lipids are much more than just fats. They store energy, build cell structures, and support countless processes in the body. A balanced diet with healthy fat is crucial to keep our body running smooth. And what are lipoproteins? Lipoproteins are tiny transport vehicles in the body. They are made from proteins and contain triglycerides and cholesterols in the core. Their main job is to carry these fats to where they are needed in the body. There are different types of lipoproteins and each have a specific role. Let's start with LDL or low density lipoprotein. Its job is to deliver cholesterol and triglycerides to different parts of the body where they are needed for building cells and producing energy. Next, we have HDL or high density lipoprotein. This is sometimes called the good cholesterol because they help clean up excess cholesterol, including bits left behind by LDL. HDL takes the extra cholesterol back to the liver where it is broken down and removed from the body. Then there is VLDL or very low density lipoprotein. This type mainly carries triglycerides from fat made in the liver to tissues like muscles where they are used for energy. After delivering the load, the VLDL is converted to LDL. I'll talk about this later. Finally, we have the chylomicrons. These are responsible for transporting fat from the food which we eat. They carry dietary triglycerides from intestines to the rest of the body, ensuring we can process these fats from our diet to make energy. It is worth noting that maintaining balance of these lipoproteins is crucial for our health. Having learned about lipids and lipoproteins, let's break down how this lipidemia develops. When we consume carbohydrates, they are converted into glucose, which serve as the primary source of energy for our body. The pancreas plays a critical role here. It releases insulin to help cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream. This keeps our blood glucose level in balance, a process called glucose homeostasis. Insulin is vital for removing glucose from the blood and storing it in the liver and muscles for later use. However, when someone develops carbohydrate intolerance, body has difficulty in processing carbs efficiently, which results in higher glucose response from the carbohydrates. This leads to the buildup of glucose in the bloodstream, and as a result, the pancreas produces more insulin to compensate. This is the first disruption in metabolism that lead to dyslipidemia. Over time, as insulin production continues to rise, the body cells, including those in the muscles, fat, and liver, become resistant to insulin. This is known as insulin resistance. When the cells no longer respond to insulin efficiently, glucose cannot enter them as easily. So glucose remains in the blood, causing higher blood sugar levels. Now, because the body can no longer use glucose effectively for energy, it starts to break down stored fat for fuel. This leads to an accumulation of fat in the liver known as fatty liver. As fat builds up in the liver becomes less efficient in producing HDL, and as a result, less efficient in removing bad cholesterol, LDL, from the bloodstream. Simultaneously, the liver starts producing more VLDL, which is another type of bad cholesterol, to release triglycerides into the bloodstream. This disruption results in the imbalanced lipid profile, which is the characteristics of dyslipidemia. Understanding this process is key to realize how metabolic conditions like dyslipidemia develop and where to focus for maintaining a healthy lipid profile. While much is talked about lowering LDL and increasing HDL, new research has shown that this approach may well be quite a broad brush and does not address the key problems. The most crucial aspect to understand in dyslipidemia is the size of LDL particles. When cholesterol levels are controlled mainly by statins, it's important to look beyond just lowering LDL levels because statins do not correct the size of the LDL particles. So even if LDL level is low, small, dense LDL particles are a problem. These smaller particles are more likely to penetrate the artery walls, leading to plaque formation, especially in areas where the blood vessel lining is already damaged. The body produces these small, dense LDL particles when there are high levels of triglycerides in the blood. When triglycerides are high, they cause the liver to produce more VLDL, which is the precursor to LDL. VLDL carries triglycerides in the blood, and when triglycerides are high, VLDL particles transform to small, dense LDL, increasing the risk of buildup in the arteries. To check these risks, a few simple tests can help assess these lipid levels. The most common tests include the lipid panel, and from this, the triglyceride to HDL ratio is calculated, which is a useful indicator of heart disease risk. The ideal ratio should be around 2:1 or lower. A low ratio would mean that the body is producing enough HDL and being effective in clearing the small, dense LDL from the blood, thus managing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Understanding this ratio is essential because it is a measure of both insulin resistance and dyslipidemia. So in summary, to maintain a healthy heart health, one must focus on lowering triglyceride levels, raising HDL levels, and monitoring the triglyceride to HDL ratio, aiming for a ratio of 2:1 or lower. At this point, it is worth talking a bit about the role of statins. Now, statins are a medication commonly prescribed to lower LDL cholesterol levels, with the promise that they can help to reduce risk of heart attacks and strokes. They also work to making blood vessels more flexible and reducing inflammation. However, while they offer benefits, it's important to understand that statins don't address the root cause of dyslipidemia, insulin resistance, and carbohydrate intolerance. They mainly focus on cholesterol levels and do not improve overall lipid metabolism. So even when taking statins, the underlying insulin resistance can still damage arteries and liver. This dysfunction can contribute to plaque buildup in the arteries and increasing the risk of heart disease. We should also talk about the common side effects of statins. The common side effect of statins is muscle ache and weakness. And this occurs because statins reduce the production of coenzyme Q10, which is CoQ10, a compound that helps muscles produce energy. And without enough CoQ10, muscles can become fatigued, leading to pain and weakness. Now, CoQ10 is vital for energy throughout the body, especially in muscles and the heart, which is a muscle organ that runs 24/7. There is also evidence suggesting that statins interfere with the body's ability to manage blood sugar, making it harder to regulate insulin levels, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes. In some cases, statins can also lead to liver damage, so one must keep an eye on liver enzymes and check it regularly while taking statins. Let's summarize 3 key factors that one needs to focus on to address dyslipidemia and make informed choices about lifestyle and health. The first one is carbohydrate intolerance. It is about assessing glucose response to carbohydrate consumption. High spikes would denote level of carbohydrate intolerance and correspondingly high insulin in the blood. The second one is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a state where the body doesn't respond well to insulin. When this happens, blood sugars stay elevated and the body often compensates by producing more insulin. And this leads to dyslipidemia, as we have seen, and other metabolic dysfunctions. The third one is the liver's role in lipid metabolism. The liver plays a crucial role in managing fat in the body. And when lipid metabolism in the liver becomes dysfunctional, it manifests as dyslipidemia. One must consider the importance of individual tolerances and responses when it comes to diet and lifestyle. While the body has a remarkable system to maintain balance, prolonged disruptions in metabolism have long-term effect on health. Ultimately, it's about understanding these processes to make choices and align with one's personal goals and health needs. So, What does one do? To achieve optimal health, the first step is to define key biomarkers that need attention and understand not just their normal ranges, but the healthy level one must achieve with lifestyle engineering. Once we know these targets, we can benchmark ourselves to measure how close we are to reaching them. The next phase is to gain an understanding on how the body works and how factors like nutrition, exercise, and recovery impact these biomarkers. The key here is the science on how different lifestyle choices affect the body's metabolic functions. From there, we start experimenting with strategies that have the potential to bring improvements, whether through dietary changes, exercise routines, and sleep patterns. Persistence is important, as it's through consistent data-driven adjustments that we can truly optimize our health and well-being. The process is iterative, relying on tracking progress and refining our approach to reach the healthiest version of ourselves. If you found this useful and you would like to watch more videos like this, please take the opportunity to follow me and do share this with your friends and family. Thank you very much for watching.